Hello people of the web and welcome back to Creators Thoughts. We're at episode 25. This episode number surprises me as it really wasn't that long ago that I recorded episode 1. On to the topic, growing a podcast. This is a topic I am far from an expert on, but it makes sense for me to investigate, share my thoughts and what I believe you could do to help and get some suggestions from you. Availability. Creators Thoughts is my first and only podcast. Since its initial conception, I migrated from using SoundCloud to using Anchor, which works well and offers free hosting for my opinionated rants. Seriously, if you're considering starting a podcast, use Anchor. Very simple to use and free. And no, not sponsored in any way, but they would definitely be on my list of brands I'd love to work with. Using Anchor means that my podcast is automatically on Spotify, one of the largest podcast platforms, and I've also been able to use the RSS feed to get added to Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible. Podcast listeners tend to stick to their platform, and so it's important to be on as many platforms as possible. The podcast is now available in multiple places, but if you have a suggestion for another, please let me know. Consistency. If you want people to turn up to an event, you have to make sure they know it's happening. One of the best ways is to have a regular schedule. Episode 1 of the podcast happened on a random day, as I was toying with the idea and trying it out. I pestered friends and viewers to check it out, and the response was positive enough to make it worth pursuing. And I really enjoyed the format. Episode 2 came out the next week on a Friday, and it's been releasing every Friday since. Also, once a week fits well with my schedule. Plugging. Podcasts are not easy to discover, so it's important I try and drag people to it as often as possible, no matter how much they're kicking and screaming. They're a few minutes, give it a chance, you might like it. I mention my other content platforms regularly. Did you know I make YouTube videos? Just search ZactheDragon on YouTube and enjoy. Shameless, but it works. I know I can hear you clicking, and if you're not clicking, start clicking. Collaborations. Featuring on other people's content allows an audience of people who may have never heard of you to check you out. I've not done this, but would love to be invited to other podcasts. I might learn how to do this thing properly. If you know a podcast that you think I should be on, tell them. They might get desperate and reach out. Shoutouts. Be mentioned and shouted out by other streamers. I'm lucky that a lot of my streamer friends have taken the brave step of checking out this podcast series, many of which have made an effort to promote when they can, although more is always appreciated. That's a subtle hint. Reviews! Did you know that being highly reviewed can help your discoverability? Wait a minute, you're listening to this podcast, probably on a platform that supports reviews. Please go and give it 5 stars, or 10 out of 10, or a star review, or 3 thumbs up. Only have 2 thumbs? Ask a friend if you can have one of theirs. Other stuff. I'm sure there is plenty more that my brain has failed to think of. What have I missed? Tell me about it. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye now.